Easter, when I was younger growing up, like I really enjoyed Easter. And I got to be honest with you, the reason I enjoyed Easter is because of Easter baskets. Did you guys ever get Easter baskets or give your kids Easter baskets? Inside the Easter baskets, let's be honest, some of it was good, okay, like candy. Some was bad, like Peeps. My grandmother used to give us Peeps. Do you know what Peeps are? Some people like them. It's okay. God still loves you. All right? I never could get over the fact that they were kind of like fake marshmallow. Like it was not even real marshmallow. Marshmallow is fake anyways, right? Fake marshmallow was wrapped in sugar, and they're shaped like rabbits. And then they had pink ones and yellow ones. My grandma would give me those, and I'd pass them on to my brother, right? But also we'd get boiled eggs, hard-boiled eggs that we had like colored, which was kind of weird because we'd leave them in there for like a week and still eat them. I don't know if that's even right to do. But there was some candy that I really enjoyed. Like there was some candy like the chocolate rabbit. You know what I'm talking about? Not the hollow one, but the one that's solid. Like the solid milk one. If you ever got the hollow rabbit, you bit into it, it was a complete letdown, okay? Because it was fake, it was just kind of like a mold of chocolate, right? So I think this is actually a solid one. And we came today, who wants the chocolate rabbit? Anyone? Okay, all right, we're going to talk. John raised his hand first. There you go. Sorry, John, it's like a frisbee, all right? But also, I got to tell you, inside the East, there you go. Oh, there you go. There's more. You might not want that one when we're done. Okay? In that, also there was Cadbury eggs. Anybody like Cadbury eggs? Cadbury eggs are awesome, right? Cadbury egg, Raina, there you go. I just thought Diane raised her hand back there. There you go, Diane. Sorry, that was.
Thank you.
Look, there you go. All right. Cadbury eggs were great. And the reason Cadbury eggs were great is because they were just like really good. And then they decided to come out with caramel Cadbury eggs, right? Which meant God's creation was complete after those were made. And they're awesome. And now you can buy them, and if you wait till like May, you can get them for like 15 cents a piece at the dollar store because they're just trying to get rid of them, right? But I have to say, even though the candy and all that was great, going to my grandmother's house, we got to eat like a big lunch. Did you ever have that experience? Like we had ham, all right? I never had ham like the rest of the year like we did at Grandma's house that time. Like I had lunch meat sandwiches, right? Don't worry, I'm not going to throw it at you. A gentle toss. Yeah. I had lunch meat sandwiches, right? But I didn't have like ham. You know, like Grandma would put like pineapple slices on it, and it had like the maraschino cherry, like with a toothpick, and it stuck in the side. I don't know if it was for flavor or decoration, but it was like legit ham, right? And we had mashed potatoes, and we had all the food that you could have. So actually, this is a real ham, and it's cold. I kept it in the refrigerator. Anyone want a ham? Like truly? There we go, Jake. I'm not gonna throw it, Jake. I'll set it right here for you. All right? Then come get it. That would be dangerous because I think he'll duck and then John would catch it. Or it would hit John. I have to say though that Easter was really cool. Like I remember that I like the candy, I like the Easter baskets. I even like going to Grandma's for dinner because it's when we prayed for dinner. Does that make sense? Like it was when you had to pray for dinner. It wasn't just a quick eat and dine and dash kind of thing. But I have to say, besides like going there, I liked all of it, even fighting my cousins for the deviled eggs. Like, that was memorable. But I have to say, like, I didn't really think of Resurrection Sunday when I thought of Easter growing up. Can I confess that? Like, it was a family time. It was a time we got together with family, and we went to church. I mean, we talked about the resurrection of Jesus, and I actually thought from the guys who would preach in our church, I thought, man, he just preaches the same sermon every year, right? Like, Jesus rose again. Like, we already knew that. But I started asking myself, and we're preparing for it as a church here, and I started asking myself, what is it that we need to do to help make our heart and minds right? Like, what do we need to assess so that we go into Resurrection Sunday, we go into Good Friday, with like a fire burning, right? With a reassessment of what that truly means. Like, Jesus raised himself from the dead. That's probably worthy more than canned ham, right? Like, that's more than just boiled eggs. But as Christians and as believers, the truth is that we all can confess, like, can't we, that we sometimes have a struggle doing that, like remembering and putting that at the forefront, and then we remember, but then it kind of is a fleeting thought, a fleeting moment. So today what I want us to do is I want you to, I'm sticking my gum on the side of the table, don't tell me, all right? I'll get it later. Don't worry. I gave you a hand, relax, right? Today, as we get into this, though, what I want us to do is we're going to look at an illustration, and it's not a new illustration. Can I say that? It's called The Three Chairs. It's something that's really, it's been utilized to teach a lot of different things or compare a lot of different things through time. It's been around so long that no one can agree who came up with it, okay? Like one guy will take credit for it and the other guy says, no, I wrote about it in a college paper in 1843, right? Like they don't know who came up with it or agree. But we're going to look at it today. It's called three chairs. And what we're going to look at this idea of three chairs is just envision those three chairs as being three places that you can sit spiritually or where your heart is at in relationship to Jesus. And there's not, let me make it clear, you're looking up there and thinking, okay, which is the good chair or the bad chair? One looks comfortable and one's not so comfortable. Don't focus as much on the structure and the pad of the chair as it is just metaphorically where you might sit. And so today we're going to look at three chairs, and I made it kind of easy for you, all right? Countryside Christian Church, there's 3 C's there. We're using three words that begin with C to help us remember these things in a sense today. And so the first word, or the first chair that we're going to look at as we try to get ready and prepare our hearts and stuff for this idea and for this Truth Resurrection Sunday, the first chair is the chair of complacency. See, complacency, when we talk about our relationship with Jesus, and really when we talk about complacency in any aspect of life, truly, is really, complacency is about self. Can we just be honest about that? See, there was this guy who was a Hungarian, don't you like that, Hungarian? He was a Hungarian engineer, but he was American born, and he escaped the communist regime in Hungary. And this is what he said when he was quoted, his name is Andy Grove, about complacency. He says, success breeds complacency. Complacency breeds failure. And only the paranoid survive. Like, think about that. Is what he said was that success breeds complacency, and complacency breeds failure, and only the paranoid survive. See, the idea about complacency, it's about one's past, it's about one's present, but unfortunately those who sit in the seat of complacency in the relationship with Jesus really have very little hope or dreams of the future. And we really, if you've ever sat in that seat, and we all sit in the different seats in seasons in our life, the question is, where do we dwell the longest? Is it that seat really what it's about is what has happened to me in the past? If it's been 40 or 50 or 20 years ago or even 10 minutes, we always focus on what happened before, not what God can do with us in the future. You see, we talk about complacency is that never is complacency something that we think is a good thing, obviously. But you see, we see this is that we need to understand that there is something about this success thing that Andy Grove says. Is that sometimes we will work really hard in our relationship with Jesus. We'll allow God to move in us. And we begin seeing success, right? Like we feel forgiveness in our life. We feel the grace that's being poured into us. We might even disciple a few people and lead them to Christ and even have the opportunity to baptize them into Jesus. But then we begin thinking about that more, then living in that more than we do what God can do next with us. You see, if you struggle with complacency in relationship with Christ, it might just mean you need kind of like an adrenaline shot, right? I worked at the sale barn off and on part-time when I was in Bloomfield, Iowa, when we lived there. Our friends owned the livestock market. If you don't know what a livestock market is, it's where they sell cows, okay? And they run them through, right? Somebody's like, livestock market? Livestock market, run cows. There was a guy there one day that they were vaccinating the cows, right? And I don't know the name of the shot per se, but it's a big, long needle, and they give the cows this shot to give them like a boost, like we would have like a vitamin B shot or a B12 shot kind of deal. And this was meant for cows, so you understand this is 1,200 pound dosage, and this gentleman was like 190 pounds, and he went to stick the cow with it, and he missed, and actually shot himself in the leg. He was very awake for about 3 days, right? And so you think about that, if we struggle with complacency, maybe we just need to have that prayer to God to speak or breathe into us some clarity right now. Because we've all been complacent in our relationship with Jesus. Can we admit that? Like we all have been. But the truth is God doesn't want us to live there or dwell there, because if we dwell there, what that means is that we're not asking Christ, we're not asking God himself to grow us, we're asking to help us exist. Or as Andy Grove said, to just those who are paranoid survive. So what that means is we become paranoid to the point where we just sit in a bubble and just try to exist, not really looking to know God more, we just want to be alive. You see, there's that first chair, is this idea of this chair of complacency. We see this in 2 Timothy 3:1-5. It's written this way. It says, but mark this, there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves. See, when we talk about complacency, it's the focus on ourselves. Really what this is, and I want you to hear it not as an excuse, But the truth is that Jesus said this is going to happen after he rose and went to heaven and waiting for him to return a second time. Is that people will begin believing that the relationship with Jesus is more about them than it is about Jesus. You see, and that's a problem, and a byproduct of complacency is if we sit in a chair long enough, we'll begin thinking, we'll begin believing that we are the central focus point of the salvation message, not the one who was on the cross and not the one who rose from the dead. You see, complacency can be a problem if we dwell there. It even can be a chair that, being a chair of self, it also can be a chair of comfort. How many of you guys have a chair that's yours at home? Can you raise your hand? Like a chair? Right? Growing up, my grandfather had a chair, okay? And I gotta be honest, it was gross, all right? His head rest was wore off, and the arms were dirty from where his hands sat all the time, but it was his chair, right? And I remember there's numerous times that the lever on the side would break, it would come off, and he'd use vice grips to tighten it back on so that he could get the footrest to come back out. There was other times where his chair the lever wouldn't even work, so he just pulled the leg rest out and then climbed inside. His chair was the place that he dwelled, right? I have to say, I have a chair. Got this brown leather recliner probably 4 years ago. You have to understand, I bought into the fact that every guy that has a TV and has a remote needs a chair, right? A chair. And so I got a chair, and I sit in my chair, and it's a very comfortable chair. But the problem is I'll sit there, and it's great. It's in perfect viewing of the television, right? I mean, you can even tilt the TV the way you need it, and it's at perfect eye level. But as I sit in the chair long enough, I don't know if you guys have this problem, but then you get comfortable and you flip your leg rest up, right? And you sit there because it gets nice and you kind of soak in. And if you're real good at it, you can even put your snack and your beverages on the end table. It's really close to you, so you have to get up, right? Some of you are smiling because you're going to do that this afternoon, aren't you? But then what happens for me is I get comfortable, and then what happens is my eyelids start to get heavy. I call it a nap. The truth is I'm zoning out, right? And I think the truth is when we talk about this chair of complacency, beware, it's not just a chair of self, it's also a chair of comfort. And it's the same applies for me in my brown chair as the games come on, as it can be for us as we walk with Christ and we become complacent in our relationship with Him. Is that we do not just become complacent, but we all actually become asleep. And understand this in Scriptures, a few times it says those who are asleep in Christ, right? It's not talking about those who are complacent, but those who have gone before. But there is an opportunity for some people that in Christ, understand this, you can slowly but surely, if you choose to, just distance yourself from God. And so the trap of complacency isn't just the fact it's about self, it can be a trap because it's comfortable. You see, comfort isn't always a good thing.